Hi everyone, it's Kara here from Boho, and I am back today with a brand new Plan With Me video, and that is for the month of February. I first, before we get started, want to apologize if I have any sniffling or if my voice sounds a little bit off today. I'm recovering from a heck of a cold that I've had the last 3 days, and I was thinking about delaying this video, but I decided, what the heck, I'm gonna go for it. We're gonna see how it goes. So please bear with me on that. Besides that, we're just gonna dive straight in. I don't know about you guys, but January just flew by for me. It was such a crazy month. I was really excited to start setting up for February in my bullet journal. So I actually did that before filming this video. So like a few of my other Plan With Me's, I've already set everything up for February, and I'm just gonna be kind of talking about my thought process and what I did. But I thought before we get started with that, I'll do a little flip through of my bullet journal for the month of January so that you can see what's been going on there. So, all right, so January was kind of a crazy month for me, and as you can see by a lot of my bullet journal, there were some things that kind of fell by the wayside and some things that I didn't really get around to within my journal, mainly because I was busy traveling. Out of the entire month of January so far, I have only been home for 6 days. Besides that, I have been on the road. So you'll see my January monthly log is just as I left it at the beginning of the month. I never filled in my master tasks because they were so few. I kind of had them in my head and never got around to writing them down. After that, I've got my time log. Again, you can see a big gap there for my vacation. My January tracker, I've got a big gap there for vacation again. And my gratitude page. This is something that I plan on coming back to and filling in the rest of this spread. I do have a lot of things on my mind that I'm very, very grateful for in January, but with the weekend coming up, I think that's going to be one of my kind of zen creative times this weekend is going to be to come in here and finish out this gratitude page for the month of January. After that, I started following along with Lisa Jacobs over at Marketing Creativity. She does this amazing 7-day review at the end of each year. And so I followed along this year. I did this last year as well in my bullet journal, but just following along with her 7 days of review. So that's what these next few pages are. And I actually wrote blog posts about these. If you were following along on the blog, I have 6 separate blog posts responding to her review prompts for New Year, New You. That's what all of these are. Ooh, this is a good one for you. This is something that I came up with. I was going to do a health tracker, and I got the idea for this calendar format from Kim over at Tiny Ray of Sunshine. This is a format that she uses a lot when she's writing out the full year calendar, and I just love it. I fell in love with it last year, and when I was thinking of a full year tracker, I was like, how do I want to do that? So I drew out the calendars that way. My idea here was that I would track the 3 things that are important to me health-wise, which is working out, eating clean, and then meditation. So kind of body and mind as far as health goes. And then you can see here, it was really hard to see, and I noticed this from day 1. Here I have day 1. I have it split between 2 colors, blue and that mint color, and you can barely tell the difference. I knew right then that this was going to be a failed spread, but my idea here was that if I completed 2 of these, I would split the square in half. If I completed 1, I would just fill in that one particular color, and then if I did all 3, I would do it in purple as a perfect day. So 2 reasons I abandoned this spread. One was that color discrepancy. I should have used different colors. Obviously, that's something I could change up and continue using the spread if I wanted. The second reason I abandoned this spread is I realized that an annual tracker is too much to put into one notebook. I really need to be tracking this on a more monthly or weekly basis. I think it would be really cool to see the whole year overall, but the bottom line is I'm going to be done with this notebook in a couple of months anyway, and I really, having that whole year in one notebook and having to draw this out time after time again and update it in order to get that full year view at the end of the year would just be too much for me. So this is something I'm going to revisit at a later date and try to figure out how to do it more on a monthly basis. This was a part of Lisa's New Year, New You review series as well. I was kind of drafting out what my ideal day looks like for work. And then this week was actually leading up to our Bali trip, so I didn't do a weekly spread. I didn't even do a whole lot of dailies. All I did was do a this week and just a running list, and that way I knew what needed to get done before we left for Bali, and I didn't have to worry about doing daily spreads. While we were back home in St. Louis for the holidays, I really didn't do any daily spreads. I did one every once in a while, but for the most part, I just referred to an ongoing list like this because I knew I wasn't going to have time or really have the need for any big, long to-do lists each and every day. I thought it was better to work off of a simple list. All right, so this is more from the New Year, New You review series. And more. All right, and then we get into, this is when we got back home right before we left to go to Bali. So I have my Bali packing list. I had stuff I didn't want to forget before we left. All right, and then we've got some more daily pages. This was a quote that I really liked, so I decided to throw that in there and fill a page with it. This one got a lot of likes and comments on Instagram. People seem to really like this, but for those of you that don't know, the A5 Leuchtturm notebooks, the dot grid, have exactly 26 squares across the page, and I got the idea to do this alphabet practice page from Ink by Jen over on Instagram, and I'll link to her so that you can check out her spread as well. But I thought it was really cool, and I thought it was such a cool coincidence that it's 26 squares across and there's 26 letters in the US alphabet, so I thought it would be a fun way to practice, so I did that. Here I have some Balinese words and phrases, which I came to learn that a lot of these were pretty formal and not entirely accurate while I was there, but I did Google these and try to kind of get ahead of myself before we went to Bali to try to learn some words and phrases. All right, this was some notes from a book I was reading called The Well Life, and then I started keeping a list of how much some different things cost in Bali while we were there, so I wanted to kind of have an idea of what we spent where. And then after that, I'm gonna flip through the next pages pretty quickly because they are journaling. None of it's too personal, but I thought, you know, I'll flip through it pretty quickly, but this is all some journaling that I did while we were away. And then this next spread, or this next couple of spreads, I've started doing booty yoga, which I don't know if a whole lot of people really know what that is. It's kind of a new thing on the scene, on the yoga scene, but booty yoga is kind of a mix of dance and yoga, like tribal dance, tribal moves, things like that. Really fun, very challenging as well, but they have a 30-day slim down meal plan, which is basically eating clean, which is what I've been wanting to get back into in this new year. So I thought I'd give it a go. It's pretty similar to the Whole30 that I've done in the past, which is another kind of clean eating elimination diet. Not something I'm going to stay on forever, and not something I would recommend to anyone without you going to your own doctor and making sure that's cool, but it's something that I'm trying out. All right, and then this was their meal plan for the first week, and then they have some fun little mantras for the week, which is pretty cool. All right, after I came back from vacation, I decided to do a little brain dump, and this was basically just to rid my brain of all the tasks that had been piling up in my head. So while I was gone, I kept thinking of little things here and there, and I knew that I wanted to make a big list when I got home to work off of. So I have that list there, and then we just go straight back into my daily pages. All right, and then after that, this is actually part of another Lisa Jacobs challenge that I'm taking part in this year. It's her 52-week challenge, and it's for creative business owners, and if you're on her mailing list, then you'll know what I'm talking about. There's quite a few people doing it over on Instagram, but the first week was to set up an annual strategy for your business. So that's what I decided to do here so that I have that laid out. And then this was week 2, was clearing out unfinished business and then setting goals and intentions for the next few months. And this is a little doodle page I started. I'll probably come back to it whenever I feel the doodle bug. The doodle bug, is that a thing? Whenever I feel the desire hit to do some doodling. After that, we have my current weekly spread, which I have not really looked back on or touched. It's been a heck of a week being sick. It has not been fun. I have been getting the bare minimum done, like I'm doing this video right now, because I really don't want to make y'all wait until Monday for it. But yeah, current weekly spread, and then after that we have my current dailies. So you will notice some changes lately on my daily pages. I was doing this kind of, where is it? For a long time I was doing this kind of time tracker at the top of each of my dailies, and I decided to flip that around this week and do it kind of vertical on the left hand side. So it still functions the same, and I'm actually going to be doing a whole blog post over on the blog today, and it's actually written right here because I still have to finish it, but about my daily planning routine. So if you're curious about that and you want to learn more about this time tracker and basically my day-to-day planning, then definitely head over to that blog post because I'm going to have a lot more information there for you. Alright, so as always, I'm leaving a couple of blank pages to finish up the month of February, and then I dove right in. Alright, so let's see what I've got going on for February. You will notice quite a difference in my February monthly spread from January, and I'll show you what I mean by that. I should have left that bookmark in there. Alright, so you will see on the left I have my normal monthly log, and this is where I write down appointments, and then typically I would log things that happen throughout the month. And then I had my master tasks list, which you'll see I never even filled out. Alright, so for February I decided I wanted to switch it up. I wanted to have my appointments and events on the left hand side of the page as always, but then I wanted to devote an actual line a day to just writing down something that happened throughout that day. It can be good, it can be bad, it can be thoughts, it can be a quote, anything I want to write down, but I want to write down one line a day during the month of February and kind of have that to look back on as a log of my month. So I've got plenty of room for my appointments and events, and then I've got plenty of room to write down a full line of something that happened that day. So that's a little variation on the monthly log, something I'm testing out for this month. We're gonna see how it goes. All right, after that I have my gratitude spread, and being a short month and being that I've been doing a lot of doodling for my gratitude and little hand-lettered things like that, I thought I'd keep it to one page and kind of see how it goes. And then after that I have my February tracker, and I've kept all of my tasks for the month of February pretty much the same, and you'll notice that I've kind of squished things up a little bit here. So I've squished my entire monthly habit tracker up to fill about half the page, and then on this bottom part here I've added my self-care tracker. And if you're curious about that, I actually posted a video on this self-care tracker here this past Monday, so I'll link to that in the description box for you and up above. But I'm adding my self-care tracker on a monthly basis instead of tracking it weekly as I have been. And then after that I have my time log for the month of February. So this is staying exactly the same. I'm tracking it the same way that I always do. This is another one that I have a video for if you're curious. And then on the right hand side, this is going to be my NaNoWriMo 2017 tracker. So for those of you that don't know, NaNoWriMo is short for International Correspondence Writing Month, and it's a challenge that takes place every February, and the idea is to write and mail or hand deliver a letter, postcard, anything like that to someone every day during the month of February, so 28 letters. So I do actually have a separate NaNoWriMo tracker printable available because I wrote a whole blog post on this too. I'll link that in the description box below in case you are curious. But here I'm just going to write the first name of whoever I send it to and color it in or decorate the little envelope each day. And then after that I have my mood mandala page all set up to go for the month of February. And I have been getting a ton of questions about the mood mandala, how it works, and I decided to film a whole separate video of that for you. I'm going to have that available first thing Monday morning. So I'll be answering all of your questions there. I decided to switch it up again a little bit this month, and I let that circle grid kind of spread over onto the next page, which I think is going to be kind of cool. We're going to see how it turns out. So this was inspired by Fiona over at bujo.mama on Instagram, and I love her so much because this is one of my favorite spreads in my bullet journal now. And yeah, So she was gracious enough to let me share this idea with the world, and I'm very grateful to her for that. All right, so that is it for the month of February. After that, I'm going to dive into my very first weekly spread and my daily pages and get going from there. Now, I do have something kind of special up my sleeve for the month of February, and I'm really excited about it. So I am going to be working on a personal project called 1 month in my bullet journal. And what I'm actually going to be doing is I'm going to be filming every single thing that I write in my bullet journal during the month of February, as long as it's not personal in nature and I can share it, of course. But my plan is to do a combination of showing you what I'm writing, explaining my thought process behind every single thing that I do, and then a little bit of vlogging as well, kind of showing you what happened throughout my day, what changes came up, what things I decided I needed to prioritize. There's so much that comes up in the daily life, and during a whole entire month especially, I'm sure that there will be things that come up that you can probably relate to, and it might help you to see how I work through anything that comes up during a month. So I thought that would be really fun. I'm going to be starting it February 2nd is going to be the very first video. And my plan is to film these videos throughout the day and then get them posted the following afternoon. So obviously it's going to take me some time to get the footage edited and compressed and everything that I need to do to get it up on YouTube. So it won't be a first thing in the morning kind of video, but it will be an after lunch kind of video. But it's going to be every single day for 28 days starting on February 2nd. So I hope y'all look forward to that. I think it's going to be super fun. And besides that, I am going to get off of here and drink some hot tea. Yeah, with honey and lemon. And I will see you all very soon. Bye.